There was a word that you used when we were talking about intake, and you're saying, sales and salespeople. And I think sometimes people might hear that and think, well, what do you mean sales? And like, they kind of have an aversion to the word. What are your thoughts in regards to like the importance of being really like trained on sales that relates to intake?
Yeah, I was one of those people. I had an aversion to the term sales early on and for quite some time, actually. The conclusion I came to there is that the industry has become saturated. With saturation comes deep competition. With deep competition requires sales skills. You need to be able to sell your services effectively, even to those folks that reach out to you. Now, this is not outbound sales. This is not cold calling sales. We can't do that. But if somebody calls up, another word for sales in our industry is reassurance. What type of reassurance are you giving them? This is someone who called up and said, hey, I saw your commercial. I was in an accident. I had to go to the hospital. Can you help me? Well, how we answer that question might dictate whether this person becomes a client or not. If we go, oh, yeah, we can help, and it stops there, we start asking some simple questions, I have not been persuaded that you're the right firm for me. I have 3 others I can call like this. But if I can go, well, Mrs. Johnson, I am so sorry to hear about what happened. We handle car accident cases with injuries like yours every single day. Of course we can help. First of all, tell me how you're feeling. Whoa, this person cares about me. And they provided reassurance. And they told me that, they're going to ask some pieces of information from me that's going to help them. So I think it's really important that we train our team to understand that there is some sales to this, because you're not the only game in town. I like to, in thinking about this podcast, I kept coming back to this idea that lawyers think of themselves often, not every lawyer, as that old school lawyer in the age where there's only one lawyer in the neighborhood and he's right down the block and he's got that corner location with the hanging sign. It's not like that anymore. I mean, you see the commercials. 30% of the commercials, I'm making that number up, but it seems like it, are about personal injury lawyers. And I think we need to appreciate that we are just a commodity. And if we don't respond appropriately, I mean, both in time and in quality, then we lose. And you're a sports guy like me, Michael. I hate losing, right? And when it's my fault, when I lose because it's my fault, that's the worst feeling in the world, especially when it's due to lack of preparation. So that's where I'm at.
And speaking of which, when we talk about where a lot of firms are losing, particularly on the intake front, I guess if you could speak to the importance of really being 24/7, 365, because calls come in at really at any hour. I mean, not always during business hours. So what's happening in the off hours?
So I probably listened to, I never did the math. It must be thousands, just thousands of phone calls on behalf of law firms nationwide, and I can tell you firsthand that there's no rhyme or reason as to when, I should say it differently. I can tell you firsthand, you cannot predict when a potential claimant is going to call you. Quite often, you'll get them at the scene they will call at the scene of the accident. They will literally call, hey, I just got to an accident. The police are on their way. My shoulder is killing me right now. Did I do the right thing by calling you? Remember, this is for 99% of the people in this world. They'll never need a personal injury lawyer. And the other 1% that do may only need it once in their lives, right? So they've never had this conversation before. You'll get these calls 24/7. If anyone thinks that this is a 9-to-5 business, I'm telling you, they're setting themselves up for failure. When you're creating a law firm, you must be open 24/7. When you go to your website, it should never say closed. It should never say Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. It is open 24/7, which is why we have solutions 24/7. And I'm not saying about having your people, hey, I need you to work tonight from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Please don't sleep, right? That's obviously unreasonable. And I understand that I have an outsourced option, right? We created ICE, which is an outsourced solution for inbound phone calls. I think that this is a problem in the industry right now. I think we have to start digging a little bit deeper about how important response time is, regardless of the day, regardless of the time. I remember, I'll say one more point about this, which I think is probably pretty consistent. I'm getting very frustrated with our industry right now that we think we have the luxury of time. And I want everyone who's listening to this, regardless of what industry you're in or what type of law firm you own, the first step to success is an immediate response time. If you cannot be fast in your response time, you're starting behind the eight ball. You're starting a couple of steps back. I ask yourself how long you're willing to wait on their phone. Right? Forget about quality. Forget about experience. Forget about how good you are as a lawyer. If someone is not picking up your call immediately, you start off on the wrong foot.